Good afternoon. Welcome to the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors meeting November 7th, 1 p.m. is a special agenda with some limited items on it, and as we will not be having a separate oral communications, we're just going to deal with the items presented here, and I've asked Supervisor Campbell to please lead us in the pledge. So we've got, there's a total of 3 items on the agenda. The first 2 are specific as noted. The third item is a closed session. And the 1 p.m. one is our calendar. And I'm going to have the clerk read this in just a second, but I'm hopeful that we as a board look at that separately and agree to it. If we need to tweak it afterwards, we can always bring it back, but I think it would be cleaner if we just go with that track. So if the clerk could please read 1 p.m. number 1.
1 p.m. number 1, board consideration and approval of the County of Tuolumne Board of Supervisors meetings 2025 draft calendar.
CO Riggs.
All right. And we'll say good morning, good afternoon. Tracy Riggs, County Administrator's Office. So this item before you today is similar to what we did last year. You may remember this current year is the first year that your board adopted a board calendar for all of the board meetings coming into the future year. That gives everyone, including the community, an idea of when those meetings will happen. It also has on there things like conferences. Heather is bringing you copies right now because we realized, could I get a copy? That we did not do that. So this lines out everything from the agendized meetings that we are recommending. Remember last year, we made sure that we're not doing meetings the day after a holiday, as a lot of staff and board members were working on those holidays in order to be prepared. We have put the board, any conferences that the board members are attending, like CSAC, RCRC, I believe, I'm looking to see if we have NACO on here, even though it tends to be one board member, unlike RCRC or CSAC, where a whole group of us tend to go. We also have what we call dark periods, where this is a time to let board member and staff some time to know when we're talking about vacations and some focused time off, those are the times to do it. So I just wanted to highlight some of these. So reds are county holidays, and then the pinks are regular meetings. I have in February where we've estimated when the board workshop. We have that in February. The reason that staff is recommending to do the board workshop in February is we are hoping to get the board orientation done for our new 2 board elects, who, by the way, are here, and we did invite them to this meeting to participate in this discussion. And then we also have, we, as you know, have been putting in potential special board meetings. So if we need overflow, rather than way back when we used to have 4 board meetings every month, we've tried to stick to 2, but there are times when that proves to be difficult because of the overflow of items. And then we know we end up having extremely long board meetings. We have, when the budget presentation will be on here, we also have Board of Equalization. As you know, your board sits as that for a few, so we are scheduling those out now so you know when those will take place. And then, like I said, we have the conferences that are on here. The blackout dates, we went on and looked at the school calendars because we know that for our parents, many of them want, I know I did this as well, when there is spring break, you want to be able to take that time with your children if you can, and they also don't have daycare. So we did go on the superintendent's office. That is that week of April 1st, so that first week of April, so the 31st, March 31st through April 4th. We're recommending that as what we call blackout week, meaning we're not going to do any board meetings. Lets you and our employees know that they can take that time off. The other one is we normally do another right after budget. You know that all hands are on deck, not just for staff, but you also with the meetings and the questions and making sure you understand what we're going to bring forward. So there are the week of June 23rd and June 30th. Those are the days we're recommending there. And then we have, again, you'll see for the week of Thanksgiving and then the week of Christmas, the week of and after. So this is what we're asking your board to approve today. And of course, as you know, this can be changed, but this does set this and it helps us as board clerks know how to move forward, but also your staff, and it gives the community to know what to expect as we move into the coming year. And we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you. I know that last year, this approach was very helpful to have for the board, also obviously for staff. Better to manage it in this way than to kind of pick through it, as we went through the year. It lays everything out. I'd like to welcome, we got a couple of new board electees, here, Steve and Mike, welcome. Glad to see you guys here. We're going to have some discussions.
Send in the back of the room. Won't be back there much longer.
That's right.
I'm sure we can move something around.
Yeah. In any case, as I was just expressing, this was a process that worked, quite well for us and for the staff. A lot of thought went into this as it did this year and also for next year. And not everyone is going to come out a winner, at times, if you're looking for specific time off. But each of us as supervisors, we always have options, alternates that can take committee assignments and, other things. So in looking to the board, look for questions, but, hopefully we can move through this and, set up the calendar for next year. So any members of the board have questions on the calendar? Any heartaches, something that maybe got missed?
Say, I'm ready to move to a vote once we do public comment.
Okay, I'm not, Supervisor Campbell, did you have anything before we move forward?
Just the workshop, it's going to be 3 days.
Well,
have you already?
We'll talk about that
Worked out.
next. That could
Okay.
change,
Yeah.
but that's why, we could
Okay.
see a change here. The workshop is the next item, and you will get some direction from you on that one.
Okay, yeah,
just
I ran back
estimated.
to grab my calendar from this year, and it's quite a bit fewer meetings, or is it?
This should be similar.
They're just distributed a little differently, I
Yeah,
guess.
correct. Yeah.
Looks like a lot more in May.
Yeah. Remember
And
May
lot in
and June.
July.
Yeah, we're trying. We will try and
Or,
endeavor
yeah.
again to get an adopted budget the first round. If that does not work, then we'll carry it through. But that does mean we need a lot of your time as we get direction on how to put that budget together. So May and June are those times and this was meeting the government code for also posting budget meetings as well. So that's part of why we highlight that on here.
Yeah, and actually, I misspoke. What I meant to say is we had a lot in May this year, but there's not a lot scheduled for May next year. And so I just was kind of highlighting that. Okay, no, I have no issues. If there are any other meetings come up, we'll just schedule them then.
And that happens as needed, for sure. So looking for public comment. Is there any public comment on our first item here discussing the 2025 calendar? Good afternoon. Yeah, no, you're right there.
First and foremost, this is a great tool. It's really a great tool for the community to know what the schedule is. It's a really great tool for all of us to kind of work together with our fellow board members and the staff. My only conflict is May 4th to the 14th. So that would be one meeting and one special meeting, should that be.
May?
Yep, May 4th.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just unavailable from
He
May
said-
4th to the 14th.
The
Oh,
week,
4th to
the
the
weeks
14th.
of, yeah.
So that would just take out I would not be available on the 6th, so that's my only.
Okay,
And not knowing what happens sounds like there's a lot that goes on at that time. I just didn't know if that was something that I need to move around or address. But that's my 2 cents.
okay, yeah, very good. And, as we get closer to we get a little bit better picture of, how the budget cycle's going. As we move towards it, we can have continuing, conversations, of
We'll
course.
put all the hard Groveland stuff on that day.
I assumed you would. Thanks.
All righty. Any other public comments on this? Good afternoon.
Thank you. Just as a member of the public who's interested in watching how my money's being spent, I think it would be very useful if you publish this downstairs so people would actually know when the meetings are, because I know people get very confused sometimes when they change. And I thought there was a written protocol that your regular meetings are on the first and third Tuesdays. So if I look at this calendar, there are actually only 4 months where you were actually using the first and third Tuesdays as your regular meeting days.
So those
Address
are good and appropriate comments, if you can elaborate.
And she is right. However, last year after we did the first one, Sarah and I worked on amending the ordinance. So I will make sure that's actually been posted onto the website, but we did amend it last year, that it reflected that it would be based on the calendar that the board adopted. But I will double check and make sure that it's been uploaded and it's all accurate.
Okay, very good. And, the norm is we try to do the first and third, but there's many circumstances that can change, how we approach our meetings.
And if I can confirm that the ordinance code has been updated and it is online, the updated version.
Very good, thank you.
The other thing is, and I absolutely, we can post this downstairs like where we have out front, but this is on the county website and has been all year long. So I know not everyone goes and looks and not everyone always has access to the ease of accessing that, but we can post it down in that front of the building where we have other things, just to give people an idea of what they can expect just by walking by.
Might I suggest that it's blown up so that it can actually be read? Thank you.
Very good. Any additional public comment? Okay, bring it back to the board. Any comments? And if not, I'll look for a motion, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Brandon, second by Supervisor Campbell. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? And again, realizing that we want to keep to this schedule as much as possible. A lot of people are going to make plans surrounding this schedule, but occasionally there's going to be times where we have to make some changes, and they'll be done appropriately as necessary. So, all right. So, moving on to our 1 p.m. appointment number 2. If the clerk could please read that item.
1 p.m. number 2, discussion and board direction on the 2025 board planning workshop to address board priorities and strategic planning.
Okay, CEO Riggs, take it away.
Okay, so the board workshop, as you are aware, tends to take place January or February of each year. And in past years, it had been the practice where we would work with incoming chair, and we start talking about, it's a great opportunity for working with the incoming chair and the incoming vice chair, especially those who have not had an opportunity. They get to participate in that, speak into it, but also learn the process of how we go about doing that as they prepare what that might look like when they may step into that role the following year. So as a result, we are asking that your board, the first thing would be to form an ad hoc committee of 2 board members, and then myself and county council, which are the 2 who usually work with the board member to get this scheduled. So that would be the first thing we're asking for. As you saw on the calendar, we have it tentatively scheduled for that February, and we just blocked out 3 days. In the past, it's been 2 to 3 days, February 19th, 20th, and 21st. We may or may not need that. And then there's some other where we talk about, do you want to just create the ad hoc committee and allow your ad hoc committee to determine the dates? We work with them on the facilitator, selecting that. I am doing this now because in order to get a facilitator, we will need to start working ASAP to try and find someone, and it may still prove difficult. But with that being said, once we have that ad hoc committee, then we will begin immediately setting time with them with a few different firms that do have facilitators for who they might want to work with in this next year. So on here, I don't know how much the board wants to speak into, like location, number of days, or do you just want to defer all of that to your ad hoc committee and then we will work on it? So that's the direction I'm looking for from you today.
All right, so before I bring it to the board here, obviously, Supervisor Half and I are going off the board in January. Makes perfect sense for two of the remaining existing board members be this ad hoc committee. And do I have anybody raising their hands to do this? So I saw Supervisor Brandon, Supervisor Kirk, Supervisor Campbell. Do you have any heartburns with that? Do we need to fight it out here? Or?
I don't know. Do you want me to be on the ad hoc committee? I have some opinion. I can't remember. Was I going to be on this ad hoc committee or not?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just answering the call of is anybody interested in it?
I don't know. I have some strong feelings about how the workshops have gone off in the past few years. I don't think they've been very productive, and so if I'm the person you want on the ad hoc committee, I'm happy to do it. But I would definitely be looking to have them be shorter and more limited in scope. So if that's the interest of the board, then I'd be happy to serve.
So, I'll reach out to Supervisor Kirk here.
Yeah, I think we're on the same tune. The reason why I'm raising my hand, and I won't put words in Brandon's mouth, I'll let him speak for himself. But I think the past ones they've been okay, but I think this is going to be the year of the budget, and we're going to need to focus on that. And I think a lot of our conversation should focus on that, and that's kind of where my 2 cents are in. Be very high focused on the budget, and
Okay.
in resurrecting the finance committee, which I know Supervisor Brandon has some interest in. So that's my 2 cents. So
Okay, so, and 1 second.
And I should have said that. I absolutely think Supervisor Brandon should be one of the two
this
ad
is
hoc.
chair. Yeah, so let's
Right.
agree that Brandon should
And so
be.
to me, it would be between the two of us.
Yeah, so Supervisor Kirk, Supervisor Campbell obviously expressed some strong concerns over, what we've had in the past.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
almost
comfortable
like,
with?
because I have concerns, maybe that would make me a good candidate to be on the ad hoc committee.
No, actually, I think it's the opposite. It's good
Well,
to air
either
that.
way, I mean,
Supervisor Kirk.
Brandon, what do you? I'm curious. What do you have? You're hearing our conversation take place. Do you have any preference as far as who's with you on that? I trust both of you guys to handle business.
I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
I generally think
We are
haven't-
arguing about agreeing.
Yeah,
This is a good
I-
thing.
okay.
I agree that I think the workshops haven't been as productive as they could be, especially where we're talking about the board space and what we're determining to do. And I agree that we would also be having, I think, a very big financial focus. And I don't know, the only thing would be, I think it's important, we take the time to do it, but we just got to use that time more effectively. So I wouldn't necessarily want to cut the time. I would want to make sure that it's meaningful discussions, we come out with something that we're actually actionable to do, so.
Okay.
So here's my thought then.
Helping
If
your
you're-
decision and quandary there.
You're next in
none.
line to be vice chair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're chair, you're vice. So you two do it,
Yeah.
and then I'll still come in with my financial conversation.
Great.
Okay.
I think whether we like it or not, there's going to be a financial
Okay.
conversation.
So you guys-
So
Absolutely.
that
This is
part of it's
just,
definitely going to be,
this is just to lay things out here. And
so, okay,
And
I'm happy to serve on the ad
Okay.
hoc committee.
Supervisor Haft, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just had a comment, and that is that success of the workshop is really, I think, heavily dependent upon who the facilitator is. And so, that really is the first order of business, to get somebody that excels at this work, to make your workshop as successful as possible.
Okay, so direction being that Supervisor Brandon and Supervisor Campbell will be the ad hoc committee members from the board. realizing, of course, that, board members and board member electees coming on, if you have some input that you want to give, funnel it, through the channels here so that, we can address, those. But I think the concerns are very valid. Obviously, budget is going to be huge. Having a good facilitator is also very important. So, and the dates, it's on the calendar. We're doing the best we can. Is there any heartburn on dates amongst the board? I mean, we just approved the calendar, but now we're getting a little more specific here. I just want to make sure.
Not to be biased, but I would opt for option 3, and we'll just figure it all out.
Option 3 figured all out.
So,
Option 3 is allow the ad hoc committee to decide. We figure out the location, the dates, and that.
Okay,
Only for, I don't know if we all need to discuss everything.
okay.
The date will need to eventually be set by the board, but if you want something different, then I can bring it to the board to set that board meeting.
And how soon would we get the first get-together with this?
it's on the calendar for February 19th.
No, but I mean
No.
for the,
Probably,
For these committee
I'll work
members.
with the two on their calendar. We know we have some conferences coming up, but the sooner the better. So I need to get some direction from them so I can start lining up some interviews with some firms. And I'm sure you have some in mind. We have a couple in mind. So I'll try and get that going as soon as I can.
okay,
Maybe even the Monday before we leave for CSAC or the Monday of Thanksgiving. No, Monday we're leaving for CSAC. So maybe the Monday of Thanksgiving before we go, so I can start calling some people to see if we can
Okay.
get some interviews set up.
all right. We'll have you follow through, and good point, Supervisor Brandon, on allowing the group to do their work. Is there any further discussion we need amongst the board first on this? Are we good here? I think we're set. I'll look for public comment. Is there any public comment on our 1 PM 2?
Thank you. I've been at a lot of them, and your last one that you had especially sucked. And I just thought that was awful. And the way you set up the room set a whole tone, which I told you about at the time. I hope you don't do that again. I liked Al, actually, and he's local. I know a long time ago, I can't remember, I know Sarah was there. I'm not sure. I don't think you were there. I don't think anybody else was. They had that guy from CSAC. I wouldn't recommend him again. I didn't like him. But that's just me. Oh, we did? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but, okay.
No, she's talking about Bendorf.
No. He came from CSAC, and he came 2 or 3 years in a row.
The Bill
Oh,
Shire.
that would be a long time ago.
Yes,
Okay.
those are back in my early days.
Yeah, he passed.
So, and I would like to see at least one of your new board members participate, because I never saw them come to any of them. And maybe they would have a new outlook. So, and, if they want to make comments, I guess that would be good. I always resent it when you ask people to go up to Rush Lodge or Evergreen Lodge or drive, or Oak, whatever it was, and drive way the hell out there. And it needs to be someplace convenient that people can easily get to. And as you know, the transit does not go to the Tuolumne CRC. Thank you.
All right, and just kind of following up and answer to your question, both of our new board members will definitely be a part of it, though. They'll be there. Okay, so this was just discussion direction. We good there? Okay. I don't think there's no other action we need to take as far as the board on this. So at this point, we're looking to go into closed session, and if I could have the clerk please read our 1 PM 3.
1 PM 3, closed session, conference with labor negotiators, Tracy Riggs, County Administrator, and Karen McGettigan, Human Resources Director, Risk Manager, Authority Government Code Section 54957.6, all bargaining units.
And so I'll look to county council, both for the benefit of our folks that are running technically the meeting, as well as members of the audience. Do we expect any report out?
No.
Okay, so we're going to go into closed session at this time. We'll take a 5-minute break. Where are we going to? Oh, I'm sorry. Public comment first on closed session. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Sheriff.
Good afternoon, Board. Dave Vasquez, Sheriff of Tuolumne County. First, I just want to always start with gratitude, like I tend to do. Thank you so much for the support. This has been a very dynamic week, I think, for our entire community, the state, and even the nation. There's a lot of things going on, and right now, more than ever, strong leadership will be what prevails and gets us through whatever challenges we have. So with that, I do want to highlight the support that the Sheriff's Office has felt from this board, especially in my time in office and the investments that you have made. And if there's any question to the people about where that dedication and commitment lies to keeping this community safe, I always encourage people to look at the actions that have been taken and how that serves our community and to keep us safe. There's been a lot of talk about Measure Z and Measure A, and some people say that failing, and Measure Z failing and Measure A passing, and a lot of dialogue. One of the things that I've been saying, and not only the county town halls that we were hosted, was that regardless of what happens in November, I will always advocate for this community and what it means to keep this community safe. And I think that we are all closely aligned in what that vision looks like. So I am grateful for the people that they use their voice, and for whatever the reasons are that people made that very personal decision. I think that there is value in it that guides our actions, and I know that it guides mine. If there's any questions about what priority looks like and how the people use their voice, I want to summarize in a very, very succinct way what a priority week looks like in Tuolumne County, and I'll start with this week and go back 7 days. In the 1st District, deputy sheriffs responded to an assault where an investigation revealed a man severely beat another man with a weapon, causing great bodily injury. The victim was medi-flighted for treatment. Both men were identified as homeless, and an arrest was made for multiple felony offenses. In the 2nd District, there was a domestic violence incident that our deputy sheriffs responded to, where the investigation revealed a woman was severely beaten, strangled, and struck with various objects until she went unconscious. Children were present during this. Our deputy sheriffs effected an arrest for multiple felony violations. In the 3rd District, deputies responded to an elder abuse incident where an individual repeatedly struck an elderly female, causing multiple injuries that required treatment at the hospital. An arrest was made for felony offenses. In the 4th District, SWAT team with supporting agencies served a high-risk warrant on a known drug house for operating a drug house and multiple other felony complaints. Also in the 4th District, as of approximately an hour and a half ago, our TNT agents, through a lengthy investigation, served multiple warrants and were able to intercept over an ounce of fentanyl that came into this county. It was coming into this county. The investigation is ongoing, and it will be lengthy. There will be more to follow up on that for the press. In the 5th District, deputies responded to a disturbance investigation revealed a man and a woman occupied a hotel room where drugs and paraphernalia were prevalent. The male subject was arrested for drug-related charges, and the female was transported for treatment after deputies discovered a stillborn fetus in the toilet, all associated with drug addiction and drug abuse. These are things that happen every week in our county. And I want to make sure that we highlight what priority looks like, what it looks like for our community, what it looks like for our families. We have some hard conversations that are coming along, and I think it's leadership that's going to carry us through. This is every week. This is happening in our county, in our community. And I just want that to resonate and reflect with you of what the investments that you've done, that we've been able to respond to these calls for service, that we are going to submit cases for prosecution to our district attorney and bring these people to justice. And it's not just your sheriff's office, it's your entire justice umbrella. I just thought that was relevant for the next item. Thank you so much for taking into consideration what sustainability looks like. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment?
Well, I would just ask you to be mindful of your employees and what it costs for them to survive. So there's some data on Tuolumne County for the fourth quarter of 2023, and this is for the, for the entire county, that our average weekly wages in Tuolumne County was $1,141. So that's, not a lot to survive. If you go to the grocery store and your basic staples cost you $200 a month, and your PG&E bill is going up, and your TUD bill is going up, and then our sheriff just accounted all the assaults and domestic violence, elder abuse, and how much of that it could be related to financial strain on a family. And I think Americans are very concerned about the high cost of food and their other necessities. And we need to be really mindful of that. And then you also need to be aware that Prop 36 passed by like a 70% vote or higher throughout the state. And so that's going to be a significant cost, and you don't know what that's going to look like. And our community needs to comment, since they voted for it, on how they want to look at that too. So the sheriff can go out and arrest, 8 bazillion people, but does the district attorney's office have the capacity to prosecute what they arrest? She hasn't gotten, in my opinion, she hasn't gotten the support that the sheriff's department has to beef up her department. And they're estimating the 2024-25 costs to incarcerate someone will be about $131,100 annually. And there are Prop 47 funds out there, and they've done 3 different cohorts and asked for grants, and Tuolumne County has gotten nothing in any of those 3 cohorts. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Board, Cassandra Jenneke, your district attorney. I appreciate our member of the public's comments. I believe my office does feel supported by your board. You did just add an attorney during the last budget cycle that we were in fact able to hire. So assuming that we get a positive bar passage tomorrow from one of those individuals, we will be fully staffed at 8 attorneys. Prop 36 did pass. That was legislative change that I was greatly in favor of. It is true that there will be associated costs with that, but I think that our local community is deserving of the public safety that comes from that change in the law. And so I know that our justice partners will work collaboratively to try to address that. We're very grateful to the sheriff's office for their incredible work, especially as it relates to our drug cases. We are seeing an increase in those, and we're very grateful for that. And I look forward to working with all of you on how we can be creative in solving solutions as it relates to the issue that you're going into closed session on. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will go into closed session. Where are we going to meet? Okay, we're going to meet in the law library. It's 1:35. Let's make it 1:42.